Hi, a very good morning to our lecturer, Dr. Rafidah. So this is our group presentation for Lab 2, Introduction to PLC Program using ISP Soft. So introduce myself, my name is David Yonungwi, CE19014, and this is my group member, Derek Jeremiah and Eric Teo.
Good morning, my name is Eric Teo Gohing, CE190109. Today I will present about Lab 2, Introduction to PLC Programming using ISP Soft. Okay. I will present about for question 7.1.1. Okay. For the truth table, as we can see, x0 and x1 is input and y0 is our output. Okay. If the x0 and x1 equal to 0, 0, and the output will become 1. If the x0 is 0 and x1 is 1, and the output will become 0. Okay. If the x0 is 1 and x1 is 0, and then the output will become 0. Okay. If the x0 is 1 and x1 is 1, and the output will become 0. Okay, as we can see, this is the simulation that I have done. Okay. Okay. For the observation, both input x0 and x1 act as a normally close contact. When both the input are low, which is 0, the output will turn on because the circuit is in logic. Okay, for the question 7.1.2, okay, as we can see, this is the truth table. x1, x2, x3, x4, x5 is input, and y0 and y1 is output. Okay. If the x1, x2 is 1, x3, x4, and x5 is 0, the output y0 will become 1, but the output for y1 is become 0. Okay. If the x1, x2 is equal to 0, x3 is 1, x4 0, and x5 1, and the output for y0 will become 0, but the y1 will become 1. Okay. x0 equal to 0, and x2, x3, x4, and x5 are equal to 1, and the output y0 will become 0, and y1 will become 0. Okay. Last, x1, x2, and x3 are equal to 1, and x4 is 0, x5 is 1, and the output y0 will become 1, and y1 will become 1. Okay. As we can see, this is I have done the simulation. Okay. Okay, for the observation, the output y0 will turn on only when x1 and x2 are high, because the series connection between the contact give an AND logic. Okay. Next, output y0 remain off. Furthermore, output y1 will turn on when contacts x3 and x5 give a high input. Then context 4 is a normally closed operation. It will give a input 0. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Derek Jeremiah Dave. So for my part, I'll be presenting about question 7.1.3 and 7.3. So first of all, as you can see here, this is the connection for the context 7.1.3. So this is the truth table that we have gathered and observed from the connection. So for our observation, according to the truth table, there are three possibilities in which just output y0 and y1 are turned on. So the first scenario is when x1 is set to 1. The second scenario is when x1, x3, x4, and x5 are all set to 1. There is one scenario in which just output y2 is turned on. So when x7 went to version 1. There is one scenario in which output Y0 and Y1 and Y2 are turned on. So if X1, X3 and X7 are set to 1. So this is all when just output Y0 and Y1 are turned on. So this is my friend's part, so I'm gonna skip it. So let's go to 7.3, which is to modify the figure from question 7.1.3 so that lamp Y0 or Y1 will always turn on. So this is the figure 7.3.1. This is the before modifying it, and this is after modifying it, as you can see. So this is the truth table that we have gathered and we have observed. So for our observation, when x1 is equals to 1, x2 is equals to 0, x3 is equals to 1, x4 equals to 0, and x5 is equals to 1, y0 and y1 will always turn on. So y0 and y1 will not turn on when x1 is equals to 0, x2 equals to 0, x3 is equals to 1, xy equals to 0, and x5 is equals to 0. So for this is all for my part. Thank you very much.
Proceed to my part, which is 7.14. So this is our network one, where we need to draw in the software, and after draw that we need to do the truth table based on this result. So the S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, 6, S and Y0, and for the observation based on this truth table, and this truth table based on this. So according to the truth table, there are 4 scenarios in which only output Y0 is active. So the first scenario is when S1, S3 and S4 are all set to 1. S1, S3 and S4 are set to 1. So the second option is when S1 and S3 are turned to 1 at the same time. So the Y is and the YO will become active. So the third option is to switch X3, X4 and S6 to 1. So the Y1 become active. So finally the X3 and X7 went to 1, X3 and X7 and went to 1, so the Y0 will be active. So proceed to my part is 7.2. So what will happen is the user did not click online mode when executing the program. So for my answer, if we did not click the online mode when executing the program, it will be the offline mode, which is the user can still edit the later. So I'm usually I'm not connect the online mode, and I still can get the diagram result. So not only that, the program will not able to run. So in online mode, you can see the current state of each input and output. So that's all for me. Thank you.